Okay, guys, you had to use your gun in self-defense. You were arrested. You were charged. You went through it with your bond hearing. You went to court for a preliminary hearing. In all probability, if you're in Cook County, it was an indictment instead. Now your case is being assigned. What's the significance of this? That's the subject of today's Need to Know. Need to know what? Need to know the law. Dave McDermott here, McDermott Law Group, McDermott Mafia, McDermott Militia, all one of the same guys. This particular issue is part 8 of our series on self-defense. It's pretty damn important, and I really want you to focus in on this. I did a previous Need to Know on the significance of being able to substitute out a judge if in fact you're not happy with that judge. It is very important in these types of matters, especially when you're being charged with attempt murder or murder for trying to defend yourself, okay? And the significance of this, guys, is that if your attorney is not familiar, if the attorney you hire is not familiar with the different judges that are in the particular courthouse in which your case is going to proceed, you need to go ahead and do the research yourself, okay? And honestly, that's a bad idea anyway. You want to hire somebody that's very familiar with the judges in the particular courthouse in which your case is at. But minimally, you want to do the research yourself because there's a lot of information out there about these different judges. And I discussed this in a prior Need to Know, as I said, such as whether the judge is from the state's attorney's office, public defender's office, was in private practice, for how many years was that judge in private practice, different cases that this particular judge has decided in the past. You want to try to determine what that judge's particular disposition is or predisposition is. And when I talk about judges that came from the state's attorney's office, for example, I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad judge for you. There are many judges that came from the state's attorney's office that are very good judges, but typically speaking, they have a different perception of these cases, and that is something which may be very difficult to overcome as a judge, depending on the type of judge or depending on the person that you're actually talking about. So you want to know this. Anything, generally speaking, any felonies, you're going to be able to get one substitution of judge. But on Class X felonies, which are the more significant attempt murder and murder cases, you can go ahead and you can SOJ 2 different judges. In the very beginning, within 10 days of being put on that judge's trial call, whatever judge's trial call, if you don't like that judge, you can SOJ that judge, and in the same motion, you can SOJ another judge saying, I don't believe either one of these judges can be fair and impartial against me. As I told you before, it has to be a written motion, but right now I want you to understand the significance of it. If in fact you are dealing with, you had a very high bond that the judge of the bond court gave you, and you want to go ahead and revisit that bond, you want to ask to have it reduced, and your attorney's fighting to try to get you out of jail because you weren't able to afford that, you don't have a self-defense plan. As I told you, I recommend you have one, but for whatever reason you're not able to afford the bond, what you want to do is you want to get this in front of a judge that's very good, that's very liberal-minded with respect to bonds. That's generally speaking is going to set a lower bond. That might be something you want to focus on when looking for which judge you want to go ahead and try to avoid. Another thing is certain judges are very pro-gun, and certain judges are very anti-gun. If you understand this in the very beginning, that can also be something very beneficial to your case when you're deciding whether or not you're going to substitute out a judge. Either way, this is a very important process in the legal process that you're facing when you're defending yourself and you're having to go forward with charges that have been brought against you. Hopefully this was helpful. Talk to you soon.